I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. And as long as I'm on a Salamander kick this week, let's talk about Salamander 2. I'm playing it via PlayStation TV, which is just a PlayStation Vita in a box with HDMI out. And if you know this system and you know the Vita, you already know it's possible to play PlayStation Portable and PS1 games natively on the hardware. So I'm playing Salamander 2, which is one of the better ways to play it because, quite frankly, Salamander 2 is not the easiest game to come by. It's available physically only in Japan. It didn't get a North American release, and it is quite expensive if you want to buy a copy of it these days. The PlayStation version of the Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus goes for $96 complete. The Saturn version goes for $87 complete, and the PlayStation Portable version is no less expensive. It's at least $70. I'm double checking that right now. No, it's even more. It's $99 complete. So Salamander 2 only got a release on these three compilations. Other than that, it's exclusive to the arcade. A direct sequel to Salamander, which itself was a spin-off of the Gradius franchise. But I'm not telling you anything you wouldn't already know from looking up the wiki entry. What I can tell you is I really like the power-up system here. Instead of the Gradius style where you have to move your options along as you pick up the capsules, select the one you want, and then start over from the beginning. Here, it actually drops the power-ups, and they're specifically lettered or colored for what they are. So you get those power-ups immediately, and you don't have to cycle through a menu or start over from scratch or remember to select the one you want before it goes away. You just get it immediately. Another thing that's nice about Salamander 2 is when you die, your options return. The options being your extra clones of yourself that also fire your weapons. And that is incredibly handy. It means you're not completely starting from scratch every time you die. You can recollect your options. You won't recollect your speed boosts, your missiles, your lasers, but your options, getting those back really helps out a lot. Now, I guess reviews at the time of Salamander 2 in the arcade were not overly thrilled. They didn't think it was that graphically sophisticated or that much of a worthy sequel. I disagree. First of all, how many shooters do you know that go from horizontal to vertical like this? I think that's incredibly innovative, and I wish more shoot-em-ups would change perspective from level to level and keep you on your toes instead of getting used to constantly moving left to right or bottom to top. It's nice to have variety. I already mentioned that I really like the power-ups, and I think the graphics on this are just as good as any other Gradius game, any other spin-off of Gradius. I think this is just excellent. And I think it would be even better playing two players instead of one player because there is a lot going on the screen at any one time. And I'm abusing the fact that on PlayStation Portable in this Salamander Portable pack, you can just use unlimited continues. Of course, it's going to reset your score every time you do so, but this is definitely bullet hell. There's a lot going on. And the way that the enemies attack is also really diverse too. They don't just necessarily fly at you. They might expand, they might chase you, they might just grow into you. There's any number of ways they attack. They don't just move at you or shoot at you. They do all sorts of things. And another trait that I really like about this game, which I think is a staple of Salamander, at least the arcade versions in general, is when you get the voice telling you what to do, like, shoot the core, or destroy them all. It's just a fun, quirky little thing. And it's kind of funny to me that even though this is a Japanese series and largely better known in Japan than it is here, the scores are in English, the voiceover is in English. It's a very English-friendly game, so that may or may not contribute to the high price that things like the Salamander Deluxe and Salamander Portable command. Aside from the fact this is the only way to play Salamander 2 on home systems, it may just be that it's so English-friendly, there's a high demand for it as an import that contributes to the value. So between those things, I'm going to suggest that you probably want to emulate this one way or another. If you can get it eventually, more power to you. I do think it would be worthy of a re-release if somebody made a compilation. Like, we've had Gradius collections up the wazoo, but I don't know that Salamander 2 has been included on any of them. Sorry, my watch is going off for unknown reasons here. I'm gonna look. Let's see. Go back to that wiki for just a second and look. Salamander Deluxe Pack Plus, Salamander Portable, both got Salamander 2. Did it come out any other way? Nope. No, it hasn't. Hasn't been included on any other compilations since at least 2007. So it's high time. This one needs to make a comeback. Konami needs to license it for a collection or a compilation, and I don't know who would put it out, Retrobit, LRG, or somebody else, but it can be done, and it should be done. And if you put enough shoot 'em ups on there, along with Salamander 2, it would be a good value. I'd say 7 to 8 games seems to be about the standard for a Konami compilation of Castlevania games, arcade games, shoot 'em ups, whatever they're going to put. You know, don't just make it like 2 or 3 games. Like a Castlevania Advanced Collection, I think that only had 4 games, including Dracula X. If you're gonna do shooters, do like 7 or 8 games, make it a really good value. And if Salamander 2 was one of those 8, I would buy it just for that one, because it's a $70 game all on its own if you want one of the physical versions. So anything new for PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One would probably be $50 unless it was a collector's edition that came with posters, soundtrack, pins, all that stuff. And I really don't need all that stuff. And frankly, I don't have room for a lot of boxed collector's editions anyway. So I would just settle for a physical game anywhere from $25 to $50. By the way, I was watching a video not too long ago about delisted games. I think it was Austin Eruption, and I was surprised at some of the things that I had that I assumed were physically available to most people that are no longer available physically or digitally, like Samurai Jack for Nintendo Switch. I had no idea that had been delisted, and then I looked at price charting and I was like, whoa, Nelly, it's pretty clear it's been delisted, because suddenly this game I spent like $20 or $30 on is now way more than that. So if they do release a collection that has Salamander 2 on it, I would say get it while you can, because who knows if it would sell well enough to stay up in digital storefronts, or how big the physical print run would be. Don't wait around. Get it while it's available, and make sure you enjoy the heck out of it, because who knows if it would go away later. That's the kind of era we live in now, is you think games are going to be available on digital storefronts forever. That's not necessarily the case. This particular level of Salamander 2 is a lot of fun, but also extremely frustrating, because you've got a gigantic enemy ship at the top, a gigantic enemy ship at the bottom, and you've got a very narrow space in between the two of them that you're able to attack. and they keep moving up and down and squeezing you like a vice. So it's cool, but man, it's also pretty brutal at the same time. But at least it eventually breaks away to this boss, this spinning top of a boss, and you're told constantly, shoot the core or shoot the center, whatever the message is. And if you don't have speed power-ups, this one's pretty hard because it rotates around and the arms are so long that they're really hard to avoid. So you got to move with the arms, but if you don't have the speed power-ups, it's hard to stay ahead of the arms. You can try, but it is a difficult battle. So thank God for unlimited coins and additional time to keep going. So Salamander 2, I don't care what the reviews were back in the day. I think this is a great game. And I think if you like shoot 'em ups, you will really love this. If you love the Gradius series or Salamander in general, I think this one is a lot of fun. And what else can I say other than play it any way that you have to play it? This asteroid style level is a real trip. I like the multiple levels of parallax scrolling. I like how the rocks break apart into smaller rocks. It's just the little flourishes that make this such a great shoot 'em up compared to other shoot 'em ups. And even if it wasn't the best of its time or at its time, it's the kind of game that I think is better over time. Like, if it wasn't appreciated in the day, it's better now because you can go back and see how much fun it is to play. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.